It's a very impressive industry. The cars or the taxis are just beautiful, and there's a lot of professionalism in the drivers, and you can see it's a world-class industry. And it would be very difficult, I think, for Uber to compete with an industry that's that strong and that attractive to the public. And I think the organizing of the Citizens Forum is also very impressive. The fact that there is this coalition between the unions, the drivers, and the allies is very, very important. And the Citizens Forum framing the issue as one about the sharing economy is very visionary and very smart, and I believe the correct way forward. And in the United States, it's been very difficult to have this conversation about the sharing economy. It took us 5 painful years to reach the point. So I'm very pleased to see in Japan, at least there's a beginning of this conversation. And the Citizen Forum is correct in saying that the officials in government cannot have this conversation alone. It must be had with the Japanese people, with the Japanese workers who are going to be frontline affected by this new business model. So I think that first of all, the taxi industry does have to recognize that while we reject the business model because we want to protect full-time work, we must also recognize that for the public, there is a convenience to using an app to call for your taxi. Even in cities where there is a vibrant street hail culture, as we have in Tokyo or as we have in New York City, the public will still look, especially the younger generation, will look to use the app to call the service. So it's really important that the taxi industry put aside its differences and have a centralized app. And so the public can get the service that it's looking for. And then I think we can continue to sharpen our political work, which is to expose the sharing economy and the poverty that it creates for workers and for communities, the destruction of public transportation, the oversaturation of vehicles on the streets, which leads to poor environmental standards, as well as congestion that slows everybody down and only profits a handful of these companies at the expense of everybody else. So I think these are the issues that the Citizens Forum and the larger movement could really focus on. We must learn to separate the convenience of the technology from the business model. Like, our objections to Uber are not about e-hail, they're not about the technology. They're fundamentally about a business model that is using the technology as an excuse to reduce labor standards, to violate labor law, to turn employees into independent contractors, and to take a full-time profession and turn it into poverty-paying, gig, insecure work. And the public will understand that. I mean, today it's taxi drivers, and it's delivery workers, it's low-wage workers, but soon it will get into law and medicine and education and other professions that are higher earning, that may be considered white collar. I think it would be a mistake to accept them. We thought in New York City 5 years ago, really 3 years ago, that when Uber entered the market here under what we call a black car base, or for hire vehicles, which I believe like a second tier to taxis, which you also have in Tokyo, we thought at least they will abide by some rules and regulations. But the problem is, the only reason Uber would even agree to come in legally in this second category is because they know that that second category is lesser regulation than the taxi industry. So, we cannot believe the lie that they're going to come in and follow the laws. We stand with you in full solidarity, and we remind you that when you win, we feel that when we win. And when you are in a moment of darkness, we hope that our solidarity can be a moment of light. We thank you for your solidarity.